Peanut Butter Gamer, JonTron, The Completionist, Did You Know Gaming, The Rest. These are all members of the popular content syndicate, normalboots. Now, normally I'd call them an organization, but when you say organization in the creator sphere, you think of like OTK, 100 Thieves, FaZe, The Rest. And normalboots really isn't like that. The normalboots official channel, where they all officially made content with each other, didn't really go up until well past first prime, and believe me, we're gonna talk about the normalboots channel. It really was just a group of friends that, well, were all featured on the normalboots website and sort of collabed sometimes and pointed other people to their content. Normalboots was basically a website and just a bunch of guys who wanted to make videos similar to each other. Now, there are the golden members of normalboots, and there are some who have maybe done a little bit more wrong. I shouldn't waffle on too long. Let's just jump into it. From what I can tell, Peanut Butter Gamer and JonTron, both Screw Attack employees at the time, in 2010 made a website called normalboots so they could make a, and I quote, video gamer show heaven, and essentially just had normalboots as a content portal to their videos. Then basically, time passed, some people joined, some people left, they shut themselves down, they revived themselves, they lost relevancy, they tried to revive themselves again, they died, they tried to revive themselves again, and here we are now. Now, before we really get into it, there are some members we won't be talking about, but they were only really into organization for like 2 to 3 months. So like, let's just, let's get into it. It's weird that my room is at the top of this building. That's kind of odd. And why am I wearing new clothes? Oh well. I'm gonna be honest, the reason I started this video is because I thought, hey, 3 of my favorite YouTubers are part of this group. Peanut Butter Gamer, Brutal Moose, and Space Hamster. And then I found out Brutal Moose and Space Hamster were both part of Hidden Block, and I don't want to make a video about them, I'd rather die! This video is split up into 4 sections. The official normalboots channel, the good, the bad, and the ones I don't really care about. Now, I could do them in order, but if I did that, I'd probably be talking about Peanut Butter Gamer for 20 minutes, and then I'd lose steam on everything else. So we're gonna start with the last one of those 4, with the ones I don't really care about. Now, at first I thought normalboots consisted completely of game reviewers, because, like, that's a game reviewer, that's a game reviewer, that's the game reviewer right there. But, Jadtronic is none of those things. He actually sorta mainly does react stuff and actually barely talks about video games on his main channel. Now, when it comes to reactions, I can forgive a smaller channel doing a reaction, because, like, you're trying to grow, that's what you're trying to do. But if you have 68 videos reacting to silly, weird commercials, and you have 800,000 subscribers, you better be adding a pretty substantial amount of that content.
So, Ken...
You want a banana?
No thanks.
Sorry, Ken, I don't want your banana, man.
His first video on the channel is called Glitching Hey You Pikachu. I wonder where he got that idea from. His skills as a reactor are subpar at best. That's your contribution? This is my contribution, okay? Top 10 react moments ever. He sort of just goes, wow, guys, this thing that I'm reacting to is kind of crazy.
Wow. Well, obviously that commercial is very short, so...
Wow. He made a video with PBG, but it's really weird because these lines were clearly recorded, like, far apart from each other, and PBG is actually barely in it. And I feel like they want us to think that they were recorded at the same time, but whatever. When it comes to him unpacking products, I haven't watched that many videos of him doing that because we have 9, count them, 9 more creators left But if you want to watch someone open a product and say some pretty funny things while doing it, I'm sure that there are at least 100 creators that could do it better than him, because oh my god, that market is so saturated. The first person that popped into my head that could do this 20 times better than him is Drew Gooden. Like, he doesn't hold a candle. Now in the modern day, he's sort of stopped being little baby funny kid humor.
Okay, I'm gonna tick this off. There's no way in heck.
And also he's sort of okay at reacting to videos. Now, still didn't make me laugh.
Alexa, turn on the new meme zone.
He apparently owns like a company, but that's too big of a can of worms to open. The content on the Chadtronic channel is fine. His old content is actually pretty fun to watch because of how not adept he is at reacting.
That goat just wink? So if you buy those glasses, goats will wink at you.
I just feel like furthermore you could say that, what? Did that goat just wink? But just So the thing about Proton John is I don't have a whole lot to say. Like, here's the issue. He's definitely more intentionally funny than Chadtronic is, and in his early videos, he is literally the pinnacle of old internet humor.
What? Is that forklift humping that robot?
And his first Let's Play video on YouTube was uploaded 4 months after the first Let's Play was ever posted onto the internet, so that's pretty cool. The problem is he has a lot more to him than what I just researched on my own, and I know this for a fact, but if you're going to ask me, Gug, why aren't you gonna watch 80 videos for this creator? Even though there's 9 other creators left, why don't you watch 80 videos worth of research? I think the only thing I could say to you would be, fuck you. Let's just stick to his solo Let's Plays for now. To be honest, the only Let's Players I really watch nowadays is Nepesta and like a little bit of Oni Play. And the thing I like about them is that they're not always just talking about the game, they'll talk about something that happened in their life, or be making jokes, or be doing bits, or be having fun. I feel like the old style of Let's Play, where it's like, we're gonna do the Let's Play and we're just gonna talk about how we're playing the game, and oh my god, is it the Bite of 87? I feel like it's sort of died out. Because usually I'm not there for the game we're playing, I'm there for the person. But Proton John is still a legend because he was making Let's Plays in 2007, and Jesus Christ, I was 2. Honestly, not too much more to say about him. Yeah, I'd say he's generally a better content creator than Chadtronic, but I just feel like I'd have more to say if I watched more of his videos, and if you're going to ask why I'm not going to do that, read the title of the chapter. He made a few game review vids that I don't really need to talk about because they're not funny, so it sort of just feels like watching IGN, and he only made like 6 of them. Obviously, he's gotten funnier as the years went on, him and every other content creator. Verdict, pretty okay. But get these other content formats out of here. Normal Boots is an organization about gamers and game reviewers, god damn it. Lady Pelvic is the only woman in Normal Boots. Surprising, I know. Before anything, I need to show you this clip from her introduction video.
First question. Besides Link, which video game character, male or female, gets your panties the most wet?
No. Oh my... No. In her older content, she's pretty rigid and awkward and everything in between. And I know this because she reminds me of me when I recorded content even as early as like 2021. Like when you write a joke down and you're very rigid and stone-faced for the entire video, but then you go to perform the joke and then you go back to being completely stone-faced for the rest of the video. I think it's important to know that she came into the scene in 2014, mid-Gamergate, when Anita Sarkeesian was destroying all of gaming as we know it. So it's pretty surprising to see how positive the comments under her videos are. And I expected to have this cynical outlook and be like, she's not that great. But honestly, as I continued to watch her videos through the years, I realized she's pretty good. She's not my favorite game reviewer, but on a list of V's free, I'd definitely put her at the top. She's funny, insightful, I love how much she talks about music, because it's like, that's important, and some people are just like, I don't need to talk about it. She didn't talk about Celeste in her 2018 recap, even though she claims to be a platformer fan, and that's fine. It just means she's a fake gamer, okay? It doesn't matter that she didn't even talk about Celeste or mention Celeste in 2018. I'm not mad! 2 thumbs diagonal. Now, before I move on, I should say, I know there's a lot more to these people than the few videos that I watched. I'm sure if I watched more of Proton John's or Lady Pelvic's videos, I could come here with a more insightful take. But again, read the title of the chapter. I don't dislike these people. I don't care enough to get to know them better. Even though I liked Lady Pelvic, don't care to get to know her better. I'm sorry, I'm sure you're nice, but sorry. It's also a complete coincidence that the 3 of these people are the newest addition to Normal Boots when they tried to reboot in 2021. Anyways, let's talk about a more fun topic. Well, this isn't very fun. You know, the reason I had this cap on originally is because I wanted to be sort of like a judge, but it's irritating my head. Yeah, I graduated. What of it? I don't have a gavel, so, you know, I got a hammer. You know how it is. Now, when I say bad, I'm mostly talking about the Normal Boots creators who have gotten into extremely intense controversies, some of which have caused them to leave the organization. Now, I say mostly because, I don't know, I'm feeling my beard mode come on. Creator number 1, JonTron. Oh, no. JonTron is the biggest member of Normal Boots by a large margin. He's one of the co-founders and originally wrote the About Us section in the original Normal Boots website in 2011. But then in 2017, he took to Twitter to defend Steve King of Iowa. Leftist debate streamer Destiny then called him onto stream to debate him, and instead of going in depth on what he said, I just want to read a list of notes that I took while watching the stream. To be honest, I went into this just watching JonTron's apology video thinking it won't be that bad, and then after I watched it I was like, oh, it really was that bad. Please know that I made my best attempt not to just write down a bunch of out of context BS that he said, but he was all over the place during the stream, so watch it yourself and then agree or disagree with me. White people have nothing / very little to do with the disproportionate representation of black people in prisons. Jim Crow laws shouldn't affect minorities today because that's the past. JonTron would never say all black people are irresponsible. That's ridiculous. He's just saying that whites shouldn't be okay with becoming a minority in the country that their ancestors built because other countries don't do that. White people shouldn't be responsible for black people's actions. Have they no agency? Japan is a model society. Trump is a reaction to the politics of the last 4 years. White supremacist and racist is a slur. No nation can exist without a demographic majority. He means racial demographic. Italians, Polish, and Irish probably would be considered white 100 years ago. The idea that they wouldn't is a myth. Some illegal Mexican immigrants commit crime, and even though it could be said that some white people commit crime, the fact that they're illegal makes it that the US is importing crime. There is no data showing immigrants commit more crimes. JonTron is not arguing that whites should remain the majority in the United States. He's arguing that whites are not being allowed to speak up against their demographic oblivion. Kinda clashes with the no nation can exist without a demographic majority, doesn't it? Mass immigration is basically colonization. Mexicans are trying to take back parts of America. Wealthy blacks commit more crimes than poor whites. Mexicans immigrating into the United States will make it Mexico again, and then future legal Mexican immigrants will not like that because they wanted to get out of Mexico. Mexicans want to move to America for better handouts and welfare. He never said that Mexican immigrants are all on welfare. fact that he didn't use all in the previous statement makes this technically true and therefore infallible. Mexicans generally don't have any long-term investments in America. When you bring a bunch of workers who are willing to work for less, the living standards of the country are lowered. Destiny immediately refutes this. Immigration benefits the global elites only. Yeah, because Italians have done nothing for America, right? If brown people assimilated to American culture, they'd still enter the gene pool and, you know, if immigrants assimilated, it wouldn't be bad for white people to become a minority. We have gotten rid of discrimination entirely. Holy fucking shit. The fallout of this was pretty big at the time. He lost a bunch of brand deals and a voice role in the game Yooka-Laylee, and then he posted an apology. And I'm gonna give it to you in a nutshell because honestly, just watch the damn video, it's under 5 minutes long. He basically said he didn't properly prepare and said a bunch of bad stuff in the heat of the moment. He said he was trying to speak to the increasing tribalism of our society, which honestly kind of weirds me out because like the entire stream, he was saying immigration can't work because of tribalism, and how he was specifically arguing against mass immigration. He did not say this term once in the entire stream. He basically said he wishes he had more time to prepare, and he probably doesn't believe most of the stuff he said during that stream. Now, I will give it to him, it was refreshing to hear him say he sucks at debate after listening to him being so smug for an hour and a half. So we basically have two options here. One, he fucked up so bad and didn't have any statements prepared, so he basically decided spewing horseshit was a better idea than conceding the debate or losing, and basically decided an adequate apology was just being like, yeah, I probably don't believe any of that stuff anyway, so I'm sorry I said all that stuff. Whoops. Or two, he believes in everything he said and literally just did this to save face and stay out of politics for the rest of his internet career. Or at least just try to be more subtle. I gravitate towards two for a few reasons. He starts out the video really annoyed that articles are misconstruing everything he says, and then goes on in the video and basically says, I basically don't believe most of the stuff I said, so we're not misconstruing everything. They're drawing a conclusion and not assuming you're just speaking for the sake of it. He also makes the point that he wasn't prepared for the stream, and I'll give you rich blacks commit more crimes than poor whites, but a lot of things he reiterated throughout the stream, like how whites should remain a majority, or how Japan is a model society, or a number of other things that I couldn't write down because he was so scatterbrained. And at the end of the day, you still could have called a timeout, or conceded the debate, instead of spewing a bunch of bullshit, because at the end of the day, even if you don't believe what you said, it still affected people. So I don't really think I could stomach talking about JonTron's silly, goofy videos after listening to him spew / poll 2017 Ben Shapiro owned bullshit for an hour and a half. I just want to say, it sucks that bad people can create good content, and there's probably a certain celebrity that popped into your mind, and I've had the same debate with myself about them too. It sucks that someone can make something that's so good and funny, and then by watching it you're funding someone who says all this bullshit. I honestly really like JonTron's content, but I might have a hard time getting back into it because every second I'll be watching him, this will be in the back of my mind.
I still haven't got my scissors yet.
Wealthy blacks also commit more crime than poor whites.
Oh, that is true. That's objective fact.
Before I get off this topic, I just want to say I'm some 18-year-old who doesn't really have any stake in debate or politics, so if you want a more nuanced take about this, watch this video by the Cavernical. He actually made 2 of them. Yeah, I don't know much. I am just making the opinions I have formed from watching the stream, and don't kill me. Please don't stick me to a cross. Don't kill me, please. Well, let's get the next guy in here.
7th grade girls in the shower.
Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, let's do this one quick. In 2019, Pro Jared was accused of soliciting nudes from minors and cheating on his wife. Jared then made a 42-minute long rebuttal video, basically saying that he was in an open relationship, and anytime he talked about nudes on his Tumblr, He very specifically said many times he only wanted news from people 18+. This raises two very clear problems. One, even if Pro Jared didn't pursue people for news, anything like that, he still holds a large amount of power over his fans, and if you're a parasocial psychopath and you found out you could send your news to Pro Jared and he'd reply with some shit like, "Oh, holy cannoli, you're a smoke show," it just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. More importantly, he makes content that a lot of minors watch. You shouldn't be surprised that you're getting news on your 18+ Tumblr forum from minors if you make videos about games and shit that kids like. It's like if Cocomelon was like, okay, go on to cocofreaky.com and send me nudes, but only if you're 18+. It's weird, but my conclusion, not that bad. So the content. It's pretty good. He starts out his career sounding like the nerdiest person in the world.
Instead, our weekend consisted only of pain, betrayal, and psychological torment that continues to this day. You'll see why.
But his content progresses from a boring game reviewer who says, like, free jokes, to someone who can fully hold my interest for 17 minutes, which nobody else we've talked about so far has been able to do. It feels like maybe he's borrowing a little bit of thunder from other Normal Boots creators. This easily could have been a JonTron video, but it's unique enough. I still got my eye on you, though. He's really into D&D, and I mean, that's kinda cool, but like, I'm not a nerd, so I don't really care about D&D too much. Like, imagine like a world where it's like, oh, my most popular video is about a D&D show. It's like, oh, that's crazy. What am I, a fucking nerd? I make YouTube videos. I'm the coolest motherfucker on the planet! He has this nerdy charisma to him, which makes him enjoyable to listen to while doing something else, which is usually the context that I'm watching my creators. But in my opinion, he just doesn't hold a candle to any of the other top shelf Normal Boots creators. But let me not downplay, he's easily the funniest person we've talked about so far, barring that other guy. Let's stop talking about bad situations and talk about some good old-fashioned bad content. The Completionist is the worst stuff I've had to watch for this video, and also maybe any video I've ever made, to the point that even if I'm watching a video about a game that I'm interested in, all I want to do is hear MatPat talk about it, but then the Completionist bursts in and just talks for so long.
So let's get right into it. Like previous titles, this game has you checking cameras and making sure that your animatronic enemy doesn't reach the security room, because that spells the end for you. The real difference here is that unlike Bottom 922, the third game manages to make using the camera system absolutely necessary. Originally, the camera was useful on 922, maybe 3, but became almost useless on I'm looking at you, Camera 10. You know what you did. Or didn't do. No.
He talks on and on about things that don't matter in the slightest. He plugs his gaming channel in this Mario Maker video 3 times! Speaking of this Mario Maker video, he had this idea that revolved around the 9-day release feature of Mario Maker, which Nintendo did once. And basically, he'd vlog his progress day by day with the items he'd have, and we'd be able to see his improvement as he got introduced to more items and more variety into his Mario levels. And I thought, this is actually a really creative idea. So then he starts out his first vlog section by plugging his gaming channel, obviously, and then he just does a time-lapse of him opening all of his amiibos, and then his voiceover comes in and says, now I remember why I'm so bad at vlogging. And that's the only vlog section. There is no second vlog section. That good creative idea is just lost for a throwaway bit that wasn't funny. Oh, look at me. I opened all my amiibos. Now I know I am so bad at vlogging. Fuck you! Fuck. And then as I continued to watch his videos, I started to kind of like it. Like in the Superman 64 video, he has this really fun manic energy that isn't the best thing I've ever seen, but it's not as bad as the other stuff I found. Have I been underrating him this whole time?
Guys, I figured out Five Nights at Freddy's. Hear me out. I figured it out, okay? The wolf from Titus Software is freaking Foxy.
If I were to graph out my enjoyment of the videos, and no one's asking me to, it would look a little something like this. His content is basically just him talking and talking and talking, and then one of the worst jokes you've ever heard in your entire life.
You end up amassing a respectable army of floral annihilation and allergies because his unarmed combat skills are banana pants insane. Spartan Rage makes a triumphant return too, and you know what? Even that has a skill tree. It's like Oprah dropped by and said, you get a skill tree, you get a skill tree.
And then he goes back to talking and talking and talking and talking. The one thing that I will give him props for is getting all the golden strawberries in Celeste. But I think if this came out after Farewell, this would be a very different video. Well, if nothing else, if he's not good, at least I can say he seems like a very nice, cool, nice, genuine guy. Like super beard mode. That's not very beard mode. I genuinely did find this out in the middle of writing this section because I was like, I know he did something. I know there was like something that went on with him. But like, I don't know, maybe it's not that bad. And then, instead of discussing this at length, I'm just gonna say he's fully in the wrong here. And instead of taking the opportunity he had to apologize, he instead threatened the people that exposed him for this and tried to manipulate his audience by saying a bunch of stuff that doesn't matter. Look, I've noticed that his new videos are littered with dislikes, but if you look in the comments section, you can't find very many negative comments. Man, this lack of negative comments definitely means he was probably in the right, and I don't think there's any other explanation for this. You know, to prove that he's definitely in the right, I decided to comment, I don't know about you guys, but I trust this guy with $600,000 any day of the week. And as I am recording this, the comment is still up, and actually the most liked comment on the entire video. But, editing me, please insert right here if he deleted it. Hello. I know I'm not properly lit because if you didn't know, I'm actually right by a window. But editing Gug doesn't have to be properly lit. That's not a characteristic of editing Gug. So now I was hoping, as I was editing this part of the video, I was like, oh, I'm gonna look up this comment and it's gonna be deleted. And it was the most liked comment, so I would be like, yes, dude, Gerard the completionist guy is just taking people's comments, he's throwing them in a dumpster trash grinder. And then I checked on it and yeah, it was still up. I even left a backup comment that he might also delete because it was more direct and to the point, and he still didn't delete that. I don't think that proves anything though, because the comment that I left and got 208 likes, I'm pretty famous actually, wasn't actually showed in the comment section example. That was in his newest video, and it suffered from literally what I just described. No negative comments, mostly positive, neutral, ambiguous, talking about the video. But his old video got a lot of hate comments. It's and they were all very recent. They all started just as I commented, like right around that time. And I think this is because Gerard is smarter than we give him credit for, even though that apology video was the most ass video in the world. I think it's not just a straight up, we delete anything that has these specific keywords in it that are like, fuck you, or screw you, you stupid little poopy face. Anything that gets that, we carpet bomb it. I don't think it's like that. I think it's more like the first week of uploading is just killing anything. It's killing anything, so the initial comment section isn't a terrible place of hatred, because like, why would we hate on this guy? There's no reason to hate on him. I am not the slightest bit convinced, even though we compared video to video, not close to convinced. I give the completionist the rating of donated. Yeah, fuck you! I use your skill against you, you little troglodyte! I rescind my congratulations on the golden strawberries. The only reason I haven't done it is cause I'm bad. It wasn't very beard mode when you decided to withhold donation from dementia patients, you fucking hack!
Freaky ass
Gerard the completionist.
He a 69 god, freaky ass
Gerard the completionist.
He a 69 god, hey, run for your life, hey,
7th grade girls. This video has gotten too big for me to feasibly release the entire thing in the month. as I'm writing this and as I'm actually recording this, I haven't done the other half of the video, and I don't know when I'm going to release it, but hopefully I'll be able to store it for long enough that I'll be able to release both videos pretty close to each other. Thank you for watching to here. Hopefully this video wasn't boring, because researching it certainly was. I'll save the grand finale for the total amount of time I spent researching for part 2, but even at this point, it has been a lot. You might think it's a little bit weird to split up the video here, but think about this. I still have 4 creators left, and these people I actually give a shit about. And the most vexing thing of them all that I haven't even gotten close to touching on, the Normal Boots official channel. So tune in next time if you want to see all that. You want to subscribe? I won't stop you.
Close the door.